Chapter 1746 Seven Treasures Golden Steps. The wonderful vision divine wheel was transformed into thousands of forms, filling the entire sky. Zhang was on full alert, preparing to take Liangyu away. Only by rushing back to the southwest region, on the territory of his own country, could he avoid the opponent from taking advantage of the geographical advantage. Shua. The next moment, the phalons that filled the skies suddenly disappeared from Zhang Yi's perspective. In his left eye, the second hand of the clock was spinning wildly. He saw that the phalons ignored the myriad things and directly surrounded him completely, and then a terrible explosion occurred. Because it happened too suddenly, he was not prepared and was directly killed. Zhang Yi, who came to his senses, felt a chill on his back. He didn't understand what happened and why his myriad things didn't block the attack of Emperor Sheron. His defense was extremely strong. Even if he encountered an unbeatable opponent, he would be attacked only after the dimensional gate was broken first. But this time, the opponent's ability was extremely strange. In a hurry, the 3 seconds left for Zhang Yi to react were not even enough. Because when Zhang Yi came to his senses, the phalons had already begun to disappear. Emperor Sheron stared at Zhang Yi in the distance. Under the influence of the ability of End of Reincarnation, Zhang Yi's time second hand would also deviate, and the foresight time would be greatly shortened.
There was not much time left for Zhang Yi.
The All-Seeing is his most powerful defensive ability now. If it is cracked, relying solely on the divine refining and the protective gear on his body will definitely not be able to block the attack of Emperor Sheron's power. Even if he can survive, he will inevitably suffer heavy damage. In a hurry, Zhang Yi did not have the mind to think about how to deal with it. At this time, just like what happened to the second hand at the same time, those Dharma wheels ignored the all-seeing and appeared around him, completely surrounding him, and there was no way out. Zhang Yi took a step back. Then he disappeared on the spot. Although escaping is shameful, it is useful. Zhang Yi likes this sentence very much, not to mention that escaping into the void itself is not shameful. This is his last trick when facing an almost unsolvable attack. Sure enough, when he saw Zhang Yi's figure disappear on the spot, the muscles on Emperor Sheron's face couldn't help but twitch. Where are the others? Countless Dharma wheels collided with each other in midair, bursting out amazing energy, sweeping across the sky of the entire Cannon City. In order to successfully kill Zhang Yi, he did not hold back at all. No longer testing like before, but a direct killing move. He learned from the previous lesson and thought that this time the preparations were enough. However, he did not expect Zhang Yi to have such a trick up his sleeve. Emperor Sheron gritted his teeth, and the Dharma wheel and Vishnu bow in his hand emerged again. He glanced coldly at the air and exerted the ability of End of Reincarnation to the extreme, trying to predict where Zhang Yi would appear from. Of course, Zhang Yi would not appear easily, because the attack just now made him feel the power of his opponent. Fortunately, he had many means to save his life, otherwise he might really suffer. The speed of time in the different dimensional space is extremely slow, and only the mind is still running at the speed of the external world. It's strange to say, it seems that the ability to think exists independently of the material world. In the different space, he has enough time to think about the problem. My all-seeing is useless to his ability. The opponent passed through my defense, causing my most powerful defense to lose its effect. Space-related ability. Penetrating attack? Impossible. All-seeing is a dimensional barrier that directly isolates the entire world. When I open the dimensional door, people seem to be still in this world, but in fact they are hidden in the gap between two worlds. Unless you have a stronger power or a higher level of space-related ability like the gatekeeper of the underworld, you can't ignore the existence of the dimensional door at all. Zhang Yi frowned and fell into deep thought. Then, what exactly is his abilities? He was not in a hurry because he had a long time here to think slowly. In the outside world, Emperor Sheron waited for a long time. His nerves were tense, and he was holding a bow and arrow, holding a Dharma wheel, just waiting for Zhang Yi to appear and attack immediately. Space-related ability. Hiding in a place I can't see? Then he may appear from a place I can't guess and attack me. Emperor Sheron didn't dare to be careless, because he had been killed by Zhang once. The 7 treasure golden steps under his feet were dim, which was the proof. At this time, Zhang, who was in a different space, had thought of countless possibilities in his mind for a long time. Although he did not have Yang Xinshin's help this time, with his clever mind and rich combat experience, he gradually guessed the direction close to the truth. He can't ignore the dimensional door and then exclude the possibility of space-based ability users, so the only thing left is the causal weapon. But the real causality directly acts on the person himself. If that's the case, I can't escape. This has been confirmed by Ho-Tu's ability. So, Zhang ruled out hundreds of unreasonable possibilities he thought of, and finally made a bold guess. Time-based ability users can see through the past and the future. So what is the basis of his attacks? The leader of the 8 tribes, the strongest man in Bharata, cannot be just a fortune teller. It must be powerful enough and have a killer move that no one can resist. Could it be that his attack can travel through time? Zhang gradually approached the truth of the matter, but he couldn't be sure at the moment. However, he basically thought of a way to deal with it in his mind. The ability of an alien, if it is not exposed, is a killer. But after it is exposed, people will be able to think of a way to crack it. Zhang opened the dimensional door a minute later and passed through the crack in space. Indra had already prepared for the attack. The moment Zhang appeared, his Vishnu bow and the wonderful wheel of vision were launched together. And this time, the method Zhang chose was severance of the 2 realms. Even this time, he did it even more radically. The dimensional door was it was bent into 2 curved surfaces, fitting together to form a shuttle-like shape, protecting Zhang tightly. After doing all this, Zhang was still worried and was ready to escape into the void again at any time. Although being separated from the body and mind for a long time can easily affect the brain, but compared to the danger of death, he can tolerate this kind of thing. This time, Emperor Sheron's attack did not have a close angle. Golden arrows and the wonderful vision wheel exploded outside the dimension gate, and the terrifying energy swept the entire cannon city. But after the light pollution disappeared, Zhang was still standing intact. Chapter 1747. Keep trying. Zhang looked at Emperor Sheron deeply, and then without hesitation activated his ability to shuttle through space to Liang, pulled her up and left. Emperor Sheron's face was gloomy and terrible. He gritted his teeth and cursed secretly. This guy is really hard to kill. At this time, there was a tsunami of cheers from below. The great Emperor Sheron scared away the enemy. Sure enough, Lord Sheron is the strongest, but our Juggernaut temple was robbed by him. He looked decisive, as if he was extremely familiar with his abilities. Is it because he can see through the future? But that doesn't make sense. If he can see through everything, then my abilities can also interfere with his abilities. Or is it similar to Gao Changgong's reincarnation deduction? Deducing the future will affect deducing the future, making the future uncertain. But the feeling of fighting him is as if we have fought many times. That is something that cannot be done through deduction alone. Or is it that he can travel through time and space and go back to the past? Zhang wanted to laugh, but when he thought of his rebirth, he couldn't laugh anymore. His move was too quick and clear. The moment I escaped into the void, I saw his face. There was no surprise on his face, as if he had fully expected it. Then he must be on guard against my abilities. Once I get out of here, he must have something waiting for me. But if I don't get out, Liang Yu and the others will be in danger. Zhang Yi's brain was working at high speed, thinking about how to deal with it. A short minute in the outside world can give him several months of thinking time. At this moment, a signal came slowly through the smart device. The voice of less than 3 seconds took Zhang a long time to listen to. Bharata's love-death launch chamber has been opened. It's okay, with Lord Sheron here. Nothing will be lost. Lord Sheron will definitely catch the thief and take our things back. Everyone looked up at Emperor Sheron in the sky as if they were looking at a god. And the smart device on Emperor Sheron also heard the voice of General Chamar. Sir Emperor Sheron, you must not let that guy escape. You must catch him and wash away the shame of our Bharata. Emperor Sheron's eyes became darker. I know. Of course I know. He gritted his teeth and made a clattering sound. I will catch him. Zhang Yi brought Liang Yu to the southwest region and then said to Liang Yu, take the Fueying troops and the remaining troops in the southwest region and prepare to meet the enemy. Those guys are chasing us. Zhang Yi knew that it was impossible to retreat now. Otherwise, if he left and the southwest region fell, would he still be able to survive in the future? Liang Yu nodded, and she immediately organized armed forces to fight against Bharata's troops. Emperor Sheron came late, with a sacred golden light covering his body. He looked at Zhang Yi and sighed. I will give you one last chance. Hand over the Jagannath temple. In addition, you must make sufficient compensation for killing Yaksha and Maharaja. I am a peace-loving person. I don't want the two countries to go to war because of this matter. This is my bottom line. Zhang Yi heard this and said sarcastically, bottom line? What qualifications do you have to talk to me about bottom line here now? It was obviously your people who broke into the southwest region first, and you shamelessly said that you helped us protect our homeland. Now that you can't beat them, you start playing this game again. It's really cheap. Zhang, you would not give these guys from Bharata a good face. The invaders must be punished, and they deserve to be humiliated. Emperor Sheron's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. I gave you a chance, but you didn't know how to cherish it. Zhang Yi had already raised the divine refining in his hand, and the nuclear bomb was loaded. You are qualified to say such words? Emperor Sheron saw the gun in Zhang Yi's hand, and his face suddenly became solemn. He took the lead in launching the attack. The Dharma image of the third body held up the huge Gachuo hammer and smashed it down at the position where Zhang Yi was. Attack, attack. Continuous attack. Emperor Sheron's style of play this time was very violent, almost not giving Zhang Yi any chance to breathe.
Boom.
The Gachuo hammer fell from the sky, causing the space to tremble. Even the dimensional gate was shaking, but Zhang Yi knew that this was just an appearance, and the defense of the dimensional gate was unbreakable. He stood in the sky, and his two guns continuously fired nuclear bullets. With the blessing of the power of the void, the kinetic lethality of these bullets alone has reached a terrifying level. What's more, the bullets themselves will explode after shooting at objects. Emperor Sheron once again fell into the previous dilemma. The strength between him and Zhang Yi did not seem to be great. Both sides are both offensive and defensive, and both have the bug ability to see through the future. At the beginning, he was even able to gain the upper hand with unexpected attacks. But Zhang Yi's style of play has always been defensive counterattack, and he is most skilled in attrition warfare. Almost endless supplies made him more and more advantageous. After an hour of fighting, Emperor Sheron was finally killed by Zhang Yi because of the emptiness of his physical power. Emperor Sheron appeared in Cannon City again, and 2 layers of the 7 treasures' golden steps under his feet began to dim. The 7 treasures' golden steps can only be used for the same target 7 times at most. If he still fails the 7th time, he will die completely. Why is this guy so hard to kill? Emperor Sheron's heart was a little gloomy, but thinking of the previous 2 times, he had seen through all of Zhang Yi's cards and secretly swore in his heart that he would not leave Zhang Yi any chance this time. Emperor Sheron learned from the previous 2 lessons. The 3rd time, he directly launched the wonderful Vision Wheel and Vishnu Bow in the Great Snow Mountains, forcing Zhang Yi into a dead end. At this time, Zhang Yi had to open the dimensional door and choose to escape into the void. And Emperor Sheron directly used his authority. Lock the coordinates. The god of love is in position. It is impossible to escape into the void without any restrictions, so when Zhang Yi emerges from the void, he can directly use the god of love to clean up the ground. He doesn't believe that Zhang Yi can survive the direct bombardment of the god of love. But this time, Zhang Yi in the different dimension space had a strange feeling. In his left eye, the second hand of the clock was shaking in a strange way, sometimes forward, sometimes backward. He didn't know where the strange feeling came from, but when Emperor Sheron took action, that kind of Chapter 1748. I am really weak in close combat. When Zhang Yi escaped into the void, he did not completely close the door between the two worlds. In fact, he left an imperceptible crack to observe the situation outside. Unexpectedly, he got such information. The launch of the God of Love is a top priority for the entire planet, so once the launch chamber of any country is opened, it will be monitored by other countries. Zhang Yi's mood was a little solemn. If he injected drugs to put himself into a state of mental dormancy, he could indeed stay in the different dimension for a long time. But there are still Liang Yu and others in the outside world. He can't stay here all the time. However, if he goes out, he may be attacked by the God of Love. Although he has not tried to take on the God of Love, he still remembers that the bishop-level prince of Nash died in this way. After thinking about it, Zhang Yi also sent a message to Meng Yuanjun, who is far away in Xinjiang. Bora took the initiative to use the God of Love to kill me, and you should also open the launch chamber immediately. Meng Yuanjun received the message immediately. Without hesitation, he gave the order. Open the 20 launch chambers for the Death of Love in Bharata. In terms of the reserve of the Death of Love, Bharata could not compare with Huashu Kingdom. At the same time, Meng Yuanjun waved his hand and said to the diplomatic personnel, "Tell the senior officials of Bharata immediately that Huashu Kingdom never uses the Death of Love first. But if they dare to use it, they should be prepared to face our wrath." Xinjiang's efficiency is high. In fact, Bharata had already sensed it when the launch chamber was opened. In the command center, General Chamar received the news, and his face immediately became solemn. He immediately ordered, "Don't act rashly. No one is allowed to launch the Death of Love without my order." "But this is the order of Lord Indra," the officer under him said. "Indra's current status in Bharata is above them." Chamar immediately contacted Indra and explained the situation urgently. "Once we use this weapon, it will be equivalent to starting a war of love and death with Huashu country. Our war preparedness is still a little behind theirs." He called a gap of more than 10 times as a little behind. Emperor Sheron clenched his fists in anger. But now if he does not borrow this big killer, he has no good way to kill Zhang Yi. It is obvious that the other party used nuclear weapons first. He was referring to the nuclear bomb fired by Zhang Yi. Chamar explained, "He only used small-scale weapons of mass destruction, which will not cause large-scale deaths. But if hundreds of love and death really come, it will be a huge disaster for the entire country." To put it bluntly, there is still a huge gap between the war preparedness level and Huashu country. Even if they want to fight to the death, they do not have such strength. Emperor Sheron was very angry, but as the patron saint in the hearts of the people of Bharata, he could not watch the entire Bharata destroyed under the mushroom cloud of the love and death. As a last resort, he had to nod and agreed not to use the love and death. Zhang Yi received the news and learned that the launch chamber of the God of Love of Bharata had been closed, and he was relieved. He appeared from the void, staring at Emperor Sheron. Since the other party wanted his life, Zhang Yi must kill him. So, the dimensional door opened, and the giant missile appeared in front of Zhang Yi again. Many people are particularly helpless about this kind of alien who uses weapons of mass destruction as personal weapons. But Zhang Yi has something to say at this time. He spread his hands. "It's not that I didn't let you use it. If you have the ability, you can come too." Emperor Shetian's eyes were wide open, and the three-life body roared, and he fought with Zhang Yi again. The third battle failed again. Emperor Shetian opened his eyes, and he saw the man who had just taken the Juggernaut temple into the other dimensional space again. This time, Emperor Sheron had completely understood Zhang Yi's means of attack and defense. And he also concluded in his heart that Zhang Yi's strength lies in the use of weapons, coupled with the cooperation of the dual attributes of time and space, to consume the opponent to death. In that case, I will fight you in close combat. This time, Emperor Sheron no longer said any more nonsense to Zhang Yi, but immediately activated his three-life body form as soon as they met. With 3 heads and 6 arms, 5 weapons in his hands, he stepped on the dimmed 7 treasure golden steps on the 3 steps and rushed towards Zhang Yi. As a person with the top bloodline of Bharata, I have been a noble since the day I was born. I have learned fencing and Krav Maga since I was a child, and I have good training conditions. Even in close combat, you are not my opponent. The ability of End of Reincarnation allowed him to penetrate Zhang Yi's dimensional door and come directly in front of Zhang Yi. The various weapons in his hands, which were materialized by various superpowers, smashed down hard on Zhang Yi's head. Zhang Yi was stunned for a short time, but his fighting instinct allowed him to refine his god into a long sword in an instant, and the powerful power of the void permeated it, turning the long sword into an extremely dark black. Are you also a reinforcement-type aliens? Zhang Yi's close combat ability is not strong. He always said this to others. But for someone like him, the words that are always on his lips. Chapter 1749 I am a peace-loving person. Zhang Yi stared at Emperor Sheron with a vigilant look, but a strange feeling came into his heart. For some reason, he seemed to have seen him somewhere. He was ready to fight. Although the opponent was the strongest in Bharata, Zhang Yi's current strength was definitely not inferior to the opponent. Even if Emperor Sheron's trump card was very strong, Zhang Yi was sure that he could escape. But at this moment, Emperor Sheron suddenly sighed. We didn't plan to do anything to Huashu country. When Yiksha and Maharaga went to the southwest region, we were just worried that you would have no time to take care of it because you were fighting against the invasion of underground civilization, so we asked someone to help take care of it. But I didn't expect it to cause such a misunderstanding. Zhang Yi sneered and said, Misunderstanding? Sending troops to invade the territory of another country without permission. Do you call this a misunderstanding? Emperor Sheron shook his head and stared deeply at the sky in the distance. All this is a test of the three phases God for us. It is destined that Yiksha and Maharaga will have such a disaster. Isn't this a kind of practice? Emperor Sheron's words have made many people feel strange. However, when they heard the strongest man in Bharata say that everything is practice, they suddenly had a little more enlightenment in their hearts. All living beings suffer, and everyone must practice hard to obtain the blessings of the gods. This is the words that have lingered in their ears since the day they were born. Emperor Sheron looked at Zhang Yi, his eyes peaceful and with a bit of compassion for the world. Leave the Jagannath temple. It doesn't belong to you. As long as you leave the temple, I can allow you to leave and forgive the past. At this time, all the Bharata people who heard this were dumbfounded. They thought that the strongest man in the country, the darling of the gods, Emperor Sheron, would come and teach these two damn invaders a lesson. At the command center, General Chalmar and others also widened their eyes and couldn't believe their ears. But Emperor Sheron meant to let them go? Indra, what do you mean? Are you going to let them go? No, this is absolutely intolerable. What's wrong with you? This is not your usual style. Indra's body suddenly burst out with a strong golden light, floating above the city of Canaan like a sun. The believers quickly lowered their heads, knelt on the ground, and chanted the name of God and Indra's real name. Indra's voice spread far and wide. In today's world, mankind is facing a huge disaster. We should support each other instead of attacking each other. This is the will given to me by the three gods. As the most favored people of the gods, Bharata should shoulder the burden of maintaining world peace. Indra's voice echoed in the ears of Bharata people. After his explanation, many people were convinced. After all, this was the will given to Indra by the three gods. After Indra said this, they chose to believe it without any doubt. Zhang Yi felt something was wrong. When did these three brothers become so easy to talk to? According to his understanding of the third brother, they have always been arrogant. If they were not defeated, they would never be so easy to negotiate. However, Zhang Yi was a little reluctant to let him hand over the Jagannath temple. The main purpose of taking over the Jagannath temple is to establish prestige and see if there is anything valuable in this 1,000-year-old temple. However, Emperor Sheron's attitude is very sincere. If Bharata is really willing to swallow this loss, Zhang Yi is not willing to escalate the situation. After all, the two countries are now on the verge of war. Although Huashu Kingdom is not afraid, There is no need to go to war at this time. Zhang Yi thought about it and immediately had an idea in his mind. He smiled lightly and said to Emperor Shirtian, "Very good. I am also a very peace-loving person. If this matter can be resolved peacefully, that would be the best." As he said, he really opened the dimensional door and put the temple back to its original place. Seeing this, Emperor Shirtian was relieved. He raised his left hand to Zhang Yi and placed it in front of his chest, then spread his palm and gestured to him, "Mr. Chaos, please leave. This is the territory of Bharata. Without permission, I don't want to see you here from now on." The words were sonorous and powerful, showing the style of a powerful country. Zhang Yi's face was a little suspicious. He really let himself go? Without a fight? Inexplicable. Although he felt something was wrong, Zhang Yi still took Liang Yu and quickly left Cannon City and headed towards the southwest region. If it weren't for his powerful strength, Zhang Yi would even suspect that this was the other party's conspiracy. After Zhang Yi left, General Shammer's eyes turned red with anger. "Emperor Shirtian, you? How can you do this?" Emperor Shirtian smiled slightly, put one hand behind his back, and said proudly, "Hasn't he obediently followed my instructions, returned the temple, and then left?" His eyes sank, and seeing that there was only the last bright layer of 7 treasure golden steps under his feet, his heart was beating wildly. He tried to rotate 6 times, but no matter what he did, the final result was death at the hands of Zhang Yi. If he used the 7th chance, he would really die. He knew that this explanation was a bit far-fetched and that some people in Bharat would be dissatisfied, but he had no choice. He could only pretend to be calm and try to save face. When the monks from Cannon City entered the Jagannath temple, they were shocked to find that the temple was now only an empty shell, and all the things inside were taken away by Zhang Yi. They knelt on the ground and wailed, denouncing Zhang Yi's inhuman behavior. Fortunately, the temple still exists, representing the face of the holy city and Bharat. As for the ancient cultural relics collected in the temple, although the loss was painful, at least it would not be too embarrassing on the surface. Zhang Yi had already taken Liang Yu back to the southwest region. He looked back and did not see Bharat's people chasing him, so he frowned. This matter was too weird and completely unreasonable. Why is this happening? Yang Xinshin gave Zhang Yi a reasonable explanation. He is a prophet. If he can defeat you, he will not let you go. So, he knows he is no match for you, so he can only let you go. Zhang Yi nodded. If that is the case, then it can be explained clearly. At this time, the southwest region had been reoccupied by the rebels led by the Fueying troops. Zhang Yi sent a message to Meng Yuanjun and Luo Zhua, informing them that the southwest region had been recaptured. Chapter 1750. The whole world knows that his name is Chaos. Zhang Yi led the Fueying troops to capture the southwest region, killed the Yiksha and Maharaga among the 8 tribes, and even entered the homeland of Bharata and killed a white chariot-level Epsilon-level alien. This news could not be concealed at all, and quickly spread all over the world. For a time, everyone knew how powerful this Huashu country's Chaos was. Just relying on personal strength, he actually deterred the arrogant guys in Bharata from starting a war. The strength of this Chaos has reached the top level in the world, Montesquieu, the president of the Tong organization, said with emotion. He raised his old glasses, and his eyes flashed with interest. The knight candidate of Huashu country is him. He looked at Myod Brat on the side and smiled. Find a way to make him our partner. We need his strength. Nowadays, the name of Chaos is resounding throughout the world. After 2 consecutive wars, he played an important role in the war against the invasion of underground civilizations and single-handedly entered Bharata, forcing the arrogant 3 brothers of Bharata to be speechless. Even if Emperor Shirtian said something nice at the time, such as maintaining world peace, the top leaders of the major forces in the world are not fools. If you can't beat them, you can't beat them. Why pretend? If it weren't for Zhang Yi's strength, would they let Zhang Yi break into Bharata and kill people, almost destroy the entire holy city of Canaan, and then leave openly? The name of chaos resounded throughout the world, and the various regions of Huashu Kingdom also showed a complicated attitude towards Zhang Yi's behavior. Northwest Region. Li Changgong has recovered from his physical injuries. He was naked, holding a wooden sword in the training room, practicing swordsmanship desperately, and sweat dripped onto the ground. Marshal, there is the latest information. The Sky God of War sent the battle report. Li Changgong took it and took a look. His face suddenly became extremely complicated, and the muscles on his face were twisting. Zhang Yi, Bishop Bai. He rolled up the paper in his hand and clenched it in his palm. When did the gap between me and him become so big? His breath was a little hurried, obviously unwilling. He could accept that his strength was not as good as Ho-Tu's, because Ho-Tu had been the most powerful alien in Huashu country since the beginning of the end of the world. With great reputation, there must be strength. But who is Zhang Yi? An ordinary person who was born as a warehouse manager. Even if he defeated him later, the strength of the two was on par. But now it has only been a year since that battle, and he can hardly see Zhang Yi's back. Li Changgong gritted his teeth, and he suddenly realized that although he seemed to be working hard in the past few years, most of his time and energy were spent on managing the Northwest region. As a result, his strength progressed slowly. If this continues, let alone catching up with Zhang Yi's pace, he might even be caught up by his subordinate Xiao Lai. I have to work harder. In the end times, strength is the capital for survival. He looked at his fist as big as a casserole. Now his strength has been greatly improved. After all, he also directly participated in the fight against the fake gatekeeper of the underworld in that battle, so he also received a lot of resources. With these, he will also break through the threshold of the Black Chariot in the near future. Jiangnan District, Blizzard City. After Zhu Zheng received the news from Zhang Yi, he put down the battle report in his hand with a complicated look, and then walked to the window with his hands behind his back and looked out quietly. After a long time, he let out a sigh. Zhang Yi, he has become so strong. On the sofa next to him, Zhu Yu, whose long hair hung down like seaweed, looked at Zhu Zheng curiously, with clear eyes, but the black pupils were a little abnormal, occupying 2/3 of the pupils. Father, don't you like that person? Zhu Zheng heard the words and smiled and looked back at Zhu Yu. Don't like it? He shook his head. It's not a question of like or dislike. It's just that his brilliance is so dazzling that I, the supreme commander of the Jiangnan region, can be easily ignored. Zhang Yi did not rush back, but stayed in the southwest region for a while, and then asked the Jiangnan region to send Luo Zhua and Juegua to come, lest the people of Barada break their promises and launch a counterattack after he leaves. Not long after, Luo Zhua and Juegua came to City with a team of Yenyun guards. The huge snow country train drove into City, and the two got off the car and sincerely expressed their gratitude to Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi just smiled faintly. You two brothers must improve your strength in the future. The current strength of the southwest region is not strong enough compared to Huashu country, and it is not easy to protect it well. The southwest region has been divided for many years, and it has not officially had a unified leader until now. It's just that the Songjia temple was destroyed, the power of the tantric faith was weakened, and the strength of the funeral master was not as good as before. In addition, after experiencing this battle with the Wulwan Empire, they also lost a lot of high-level combat power. Zhang Yi's worry was justified. Luo Zhua also showed a worried look on his face. Zhang Yi couldn't help asking, the power of faith. The energy should not disappear. Do you want to consider redeveloping it? But Luo Zhua said righteously, no. When we first established the resistance army, we said that we would never exploit the people in the name of religion. Zhang Yi complained in his heart. You are aloof. You are great. You have to ask me for help. You are pretending to be a chicken feather. But he still had a smile on his face, walked over and hugged the brothers Luo Zhua and Juegua, and said, nowadays, the world is getting more and more turbulent. No one knows what will happen in the future. A strong leadership organization can bring stability to the region. The old-time tundra is certainly not desirable, but You can create a new tantra. He looked at Luo Zhua and then at Juegua, two people in charge. One is in charge of administration, and the other is in charge of religion. The believers will feel uncomfortable without faith. This way, you don't have to worry about the power of faith being unavailable, and you don't have to worry about the situation of people being exploited as before. After listening to Zhang Yi's words, Juegua and Luo Zhua showed thoughtful expressions on their faces. Tantric Buddhism has a deep foundation in the Snowy Plateau. If one wants to rebuild Tantric Buddhism, it is not difficult at all. The most important thing is that the people's faith is still there. Zhang Yi just gave a suggestion, and he didn't care about how they did it specifically. He called Liang Yu and others, left the Snowy Plateau, and headed towards Tianhai City. Dear viewers, with this last episode, Zhang Yi versus India battle ends here. After this, there will be another underground invasion in Farmhouse Country, now known as Russia. Please like and comment if not already. Thanks. Can you really believe it? If he is particularly weak in close combat, he must keep his mouth shut. Of course, compared to Liang Yu or Li Changgong, who are capable of close combat, his close combat will appear weak. However, with a variety of weapons on his body, and having studied under the first martial arts master of Huaxi Country for 3 years, he is also terrifyingly strong in close combat. 100 times space acceleration. Zhang Yi raised the knife in his hand. His eyes were cold, and his body suddenly turned into a flashing stream of light on the spot. Swamp of time. The surrounding space completely turned into a sticky swamp. Except for Zhang Yi, the speed of time flow of all existence was weakened. Of course, this also includes Emperor Shirtian's body. Emperor Shirtian was stunned. He saw Zhang Yi's future, which was even more chaotic. His world-honored heavenly umbrella smashed the left half of Zhang Yi's head, and other weapons also attacked Zhang Yi's body from all angles. But those weapons were still in the air, and a black light cut through the air and slashed directly forward. Puff. Emperor Shirtian's neck felt cold, and the next moment, a large amount of blood gushed out of his neck, and a head flew high up. Zhang Yi was stunned for a moment. He looked back at the falling body and couldn't believe that Emperor Shirtian was killed by himself. That you took the initiative to come to me for a close-up solo, and I thought you were very strong. Emperor Shirtian's 7 treasure golden steps lost their luster again. Emperor Shirtian opened his eyes and saw Zhang Yi, who had just taken over the Juggernaut Temple in front of him. Zhang Yi also turned his head at this time, looking at him with cold eyes and vigilance, and ready to run away at any time. Emperor Shirtian slowly raised the corner of his mouth, raised a finger, and said, "You are Chaos, an ordinary warehouse manager in Tianhai City, Jiangnan District, Huaxi Country. I have seen your future. Among 10,000 possibilities, there is only one possibility that you will survive.